Okay, so starting with Amma. All over the world, mother hears her children's hearts calling. She longs to soothe their painful yearnings and lead them to eternal light. Mother does not distinguish among nations, for she is everywhere. All people are her darling children. There are many petals on a flower, but the flower is one. The world is a flower, and every nation a petal. To Mother, all are one. So feel free to state your intention for your practice here this morning if you so desire. It could be an offering out to those who are suffering, or a loved one or someone you know that could take this vibration of our yoga practice with them. Okay, when you're ready, let's take those legs out in front. And we'll point the toes down towards the floor as much as we can to stretch out the tops of the feet. And then we'll pull the toes towards us. So basically pointing and flexing your feet. So this is very gentle class. We're going to bring the toes towards us, maybe just a few standing poses. One more time. We had a request for the lats, the lower, the mid back a little bit, and stretching those out. Okay, we'll bring the feet onto the floor. So I'd like to start with some warm-ups. We're going to rock and roll the hips a little side to side. So I'm trying to get my knees to come down towards the floor, you know, so I can even push that back hip forward a little bit if I want. You can let go of the back hand if you want to take weight off of it, and even let the shoulders get involved. And this might work for the lats a little bit, is that back arm we can reach out. So I'm leaning over to, say, my right side, and the left arm sweeps out a little bit. Okay, one more time each side. Nice little massage for your bottom. Good. And then we'll come back to center. Bound ankle if you would. Grab your feet, grab your ankles, sit up nice and tall. You want to go a little side to side to get the flesh off of your sitting bones. In this position, we're going to open up the spine with a little cat and cow here. So I'm going to lean back. I'd like you to do the same, chin in towards your chest. Pause there. Take a big breath. This might stretch right between the shoulder blades and the lats. Okay. And then we're going to rock up on our hips, take our gaze up, so my whole spine changes. And you're basically in that dog tilt, right? Cow tilt. And then exhale, roll back. Pause, feel the stretch, and then start to move through your spine. In different traditions, they call poses a little differently. So at Kripalu, we always called this cat and dog. Most traditions, or other traditions, I should say, call it cat and cow. One more, feel that nice stretch. And I hold on to my shins or whatever. Let the weight lean back. Stay here in that cat tilt. Bring the chin way into the chest. Take a deep breath. Let between the shoulder blades really get a nice stretch there. And then one more time, we'll come up towards the ceiling. Okay. Then I'm still going to hold on to my feet. I'm going to butterfly my knees up and down. Open the hips a little bit. And then I can help those knees together extend the legs out one more time and a little forward bend here. So I'm keeping my toes coming towards me, back nice and flat. I want to find my stretch point behind my legs without any strain happening. Okay, and we'll back off of that. Okay, we're going to come on all fours. Feel free to pad those knees. Some of us are on different surfaces. Deb even went out in her backyard on her grass, so that could be nice for some of you. You know, you can do yoga anywhere. We're going to curl the toes under and take the hips back, rock them back a little bit to stretch the toes. Then I'm going to come forward and I'm going to do that again. So I'll take my weight back until I feel my toes stretch. And then I'll come forward. I'm going to pick up the feet and then rotate the ankles a couple times in each direction. Okay, feet go down. Okay, so we're going to alternate table position. Inhale, take the right arm out and up. You can turn your whole torso to the right. I'm going to bring that down and then I'm going to sweep the left arm up. And I can look at that left arm as it goes up and exhale, bring it down. 2 more times on each side. It is a little bit of a twist, so you decide, maybe you don't take that arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Coordinate the breath. I like to inhale as I come up and twist, exhale as I go back to table, and one last time. And bring it back down. Okay, puppy stretch. Your knees are going to stay down, but you're going to walk your hands forward and then bring your head to the floor. Maybe it's to a block if you have to, but keep walking those arms out. It's a nice stretch for your side body. And sometimes I turn my head, so I want to make sure you can hear me. So feel free, I don't want you to turn your head or even look up. Just let your head rest on the floor or a block. Your hips pull back as your arms reach forward. And then come back up into table, so you walk yourself back in, okay? Come up to standing, take your time. So puppy stretch is a nice little inversion. It gets into the shoulders a little bit, but it might also get into the hips as you go back. It's a nice alternative from downward dog. And since this is a gentle class, we don't do downward dog that much. We're going to separate the feet. This is a little bit of a twist. Your arms are just going to be loosey-goosey. You're going to bring the back heel off the ground. I call it helicopter arms. Inhale, center, exhale through the mouth as you twist. Inhale, center, exhale, twist. So it's it can be fast, right? I bring the back heel off because I'm moving my hips around, will be easier in all of our backs. This will bring a little bit of energy as we get started in our class. Inhale, center, exhale, the arms, and exhale through the mouth. Then turn your head in the opposite direction. I think all of you have done this before. And those arms, I try not to have any control of my arms. They're just flopping around. One more time each side. Don't forget the breath. And then you can slow it down. And we'll come back to center. Walk those feet in. And then bring one heel off the ground and take the foot a little side to side. I like to warm up my feet before some balancing poses. And bring that down, then lift the other heel off the ground. And I'm putting weight in the ball of the foot and then moving the foot a little side to side to bring some circulation into it. Okay. So step your right leg back, left leg forward. This left leg typically is straight, but you're welcome to bend it. Put your right hand behind your back. Take the left arm up towards the ceiling. So go nice and slow with this. You might want to walk that left foot just a little to the left so you feel more balance. Take a breath in. Exhale, I'm going to come forward with a flat back at first, and then the hand can touch my thigh or my shin. Then I'm going to reach the arm out, strong legs. I'm going to come up and maybe even look up. Runner stretch, variation. Exhale, keep the hips and shoulders square. Inhale, you reach out and up. Maybe a slight back bend. 2 more times on this side. Use your abs when you come up also. So I know you're inhaling, but ground those legs. Draw the belly in a little bit to support you as you come up. Last one. Shoulders, legs, abs, back even. And then this time when you come up, you can bring the arm down. Okay, release both arms, step the back foot forward, and other side. Okay, so I'm going to bring the left hand back. That will keep the shoulder back a little bit. Take the right arm up. Inhale here. Exhale. Hinge at the hips like all your forward bends. Maybe your hand comes to your shin or your thigh. Reach out and up. Exhale, forward. Nice. And then reaching out. I need my legs to bring me up. Shoulder opens. Exhale as I come forward. I need those legs, so make sure you feel balanced. Press into the feet. Come on up. I think we have one more. So let's make this our last one. Exhale as I go down. Get the arm by my ear as I start to reach out and up. And then you can relax your arms and step the feet together. Good. Okay. That's a little bit of balancing for me. Let's take the arms out to the side. Take your right arm underneath your left for eagle arms. So if that doesn't work for you, just put your hands on your shoulders. So like a hug or the back of the hands together. So I'll just go to the side. I'm going to make some circles. Take some big breaths because this is where I might feel stretch between my shoulders. Okay, reverse the circles. And then let's keep the same arm position. Bend the knees a little bit. Take your left knee and stack it on top of your right. So we're going right into eagle pose. Okay, you can use back up against the wall. You can sit in a chair doing this, whatever works for you. You can bring the toes off the ground or just keep them on the floor. But what I want to offer you, if you want to let those arms come away from your chest a little bit, and then you can come forward. Take big breaths. I love how it feels between the shoulder blades. Just get right in there. Okay? If you went down, come on up, unwind everything, and roll it out. Okay, just the arms first. She's left under right. Yeah, it's left under right. I think that's what I gave you. Do opposite of what you just did. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's correct. I'm not sure now. Take the leg, right leg over left. You just have to figure it out. Sorry, I got confused mirroring you. And then here I might come forward. So you're in eagle arms, eagle legs. Nested eagle is when you come forward. And then I'll come back up. Keep the arms, unwind the legs, and lift your elbows up and down a couple times. Okay, feel that between your shoulder blades. Okay, drop those elbows, release, and relax. Okay, sorry about that. I got confused on what side I did. So right hand on your shoulder, or on the left shoulder, and vice versa. So I got my arms, my elbows lifted. I'll just go to the side. And then I'm gonna pull those elbows away from me and then take them over to the left as my head turns to the right. Keep the chin level though. Okay, then come back to center, jet the elbows away from you, take the elbows over to the right as the head turns to the left. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And bring everything back to center and release. Okay? We're going to take the arms up overhead, mountain pose. But now I want you to bend your elbows, bring your fingertips on your shoulders. Keep the elbows kind of close in towards your ears a little bit, but relax those shoulders. And then start to make some circles with those elbows. And then reverse the circles. And release. Okay, we're going to come back onto the floor. If you want to have a pillow or a blanket, I'm going to choose to do that because we're going to come into a seated pose, but we're going to get into our hips a little bit here. Okay, everybody ready? Typically, if you take support underneath, it's easier on your hips. So we're going to bring those feet out in front. It's going to be a little different for everybody. Take your right leg underneath your left. So here, I might need a little support for that knee. We're going to go into double pigeon, it's called, but yours might be a cross-legged position. Then I'm going to bring that left leg in front. So my shins are in front of one another. They also call it like fire log pose. Now, some of you might bring that left leg up on top of your bottom thigh. Okay, so it might look something like this. Some of our knees and hips are not going to do this, so we just keep it down into a nice, comfortable, cross-legged position. You'll still get your hips, I'll make sure, okay? So we're either in double pigeon or cross-legged position. If I don't feel much of a stretch, I might start to come forward, and then you'll feel it in the hips. If you're in double pigeon, or a variation of it, go ahead and try to keep those feet flexed. It's a pretty, for me, intense hip stretch. So I could always lower this leg down. I don't want to feel it in the knees. I want to feel it all back here in my hips. Now you could sway a little side to side, play with it. Where's your stretch point? Where do you feel stretch? And that's going to depend on your hips, what position you're in, how it works for you. I mean, right here, this is enough for me, but I can even put a blanket or pillow underneath the bottom knee. So whatever way you're sitting, we're going to make a little twist towards the right. I'm just walking around a little bit, add a twist, keep my mind off of the hips. And then I'll come back to center and twist to the other side. So my whole gaze can go to that back wall. Okay, come out of that. Now it's time to come out of the pose. Help that top leg down. We're all going to extend our legs out and then give your knees a little massage. And not just your kneecaps, go just above the inside of the knees, just below the knees on that inside. All those points in there, sometimes if these muscles are tight, the adductors and that, it can pull on your knees. So mine are a little tender on the inside there. Okay, let's do the other side. Let's take the left leg underneath. Maybe I need support. Maybe I come into the leg on the ground, or some of you might want to take that left leg up on top. Okay, your pose. But be honest, you should not feel it in your knees. Okay, So here I hang out, I wait for that stretch point to happen. Maybe I need a little bit more. Maybe I start to rock and get in and into the hips just a little bit more. No two sets of hips are alike, so we're all feeling something probably a little different or more on one side than the other side. Okay. Nice big breaths, don't hold the breath. Okay, and then we're going to come up and twist. Stay in position with the legs over towards one side, doesn't matter, we're going to get both sides. Then I'll come back out of the twist into center and then over to the other side. Back to center. Let's help that top knee down and extend both. And give yourself a little massage below the knees, above the knees, quads. Sometimes if your quads are really tight in the front, it could be pulling your knees. So there's so much that could be happening there. And injuries, falls, that kind of thing. Okay. So I'm going to come off my support if I'm sitting on a blanket. I'm going to bend both knees again. I'm going to drop both legs over to the right. You all have done this in class before. And we're going to move that pelvis, like rock the pelvis back and forth. Exaggerate. Your hands can be wherever. But I'm moving, I want to, the whole torso's moving, but I'm really thinking about my pelvis, tipping one direction, coming back, going a little further forward. Okay. And last time. And then from here, I'm going to walk around into this gentle twist. I'm walking around to the right. I can even push that left hip, that back hip forward a little bit so I take it out of the back. So we're looking over our right shoulder right now. Keep the twist. For our next stretch, let's look over our right shoulder. Your left shoulder. Okay, look back over your right shoulder. And nice and slow, come on out. These have become some of my favorite, especially after gardening and lower back and that. So we're rocking the pelvis forward and back. Just play with it. The more I come forward, I'll feel it in that front hip. Good. Next time I come back to center, I'll walk around to the left, hands wherever, but don't lean into the hands, okay? This might get it into your lats as well, depending upon how you're positioning your arms. We're going to look over to the right shoulder now, keeping the chin parallel. Then we'll look to the back wall again, towards the left. And then nice and slow, come on out. From here, a cross-legged position, and let's come forward a little bit, okay? Now, as I come forward, I might just wiggle a little side to side, take support for the knees if I need to. I even let my torso rock to one side. You know it feels good. I encourage you to do that. Good. And then we'll come back to center. Extend those legs out or just sit in a way. Grab your blanket, towel if you have it. If you have two, you can use two here. So I'm opening up my blanket like so. I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, but now I'm going to fold it in quarters. So you can do this on the floor. I'm just standing up so you see it. So I'm fan folding these back. So it's almost like two tiers here. Okay. Most of you have done this before. So it's nice and long. So then you have a choice. Do I go forward or do I go back? Do I go forward? Do I sit on it or do I sit off of it? Okay. So we're going to be here for a little bit. We're going to do that acupressure point where your fingers are going to come right in between your breastbone or at the bottom of your breastbone there. Okay. So I happen to have many bolsters actually. So I'm going to take a bolster or a rolled up blanket if you have, or a chair, and you can either sit on it, the blanket that is, or sit off of it, and your legs on a chair or over a blanket or a bolster, okay? So we're gonna lay down. We're gonna be here for about 3 or 4 minutes, so I wanna make sure you're comfortable. The blanket's pretty long back there, so I can tuck it right underneath my neck and give my neck a little extra support if it needs. Okay? Now, if you, excuse me, happen to have a bolster, I might just bring my feet up, bottoms of the feet together. I want a little bit more hips. The knees can be out to the side. Doesn't feel all that great on the back. I'll bend my knees and keep my knees bent. Okay, you could even have a block underneath your feet. The higher the feet come up, then it will flatten your back or simply sit on that blanket. Okay, so then I'd like you to sweep your arms overhead. Let the shoulders drop down between the blanket. Now this is an arch you'll feel probably in the thoracic. Okay. Then we're going to go bring those arms around, take the right arm underneath your left, and then put your hands on your shoulders like that hug we did. But now my elbows are going to kind of go up towards the ceiling a little bit. And my hands can pull, my elbows are going to go up towards the ceiling. So really what you're doing here is rounding that mid back, even though it's right over the blanket, and then relax. Release the arms, sweep them overhead, and then take the left arm underneath your right. So just think about giving yourself a hug. One hand's on one shoulder, the other hand's on the other. My elbows are kind of up towards the ceiling. And then I'm going to reach those elbows up. So my back, mid-back is rounding here. I'm stretching it, but I want to take a nice deep breath in there too. And then relax. Take the arms one more time overhead, palms up, elbows can be bent. You can change up your legs at any point. And I'd like you to take really 3 big breaths here. I want you to inhale. Breathe into that support, that blanket beneath you, and then exhale all the breath. Okay, try it again. Try to breathe into the blanket behind you. And then exhale all the breath. One more time, expanding the breath, expanding that whole back part of your body with breath, and exhale, release. Okay. Now you can let the arms come a little closer to your side body. Going to be here for another 2 minutes. So you can change up, get out of it if you want to. I'm going to come seated. So I just want to give you that acupressure point where your 3 fingers are going to rest in the middle of your breastbone. Okay. They recommend that you hold it for 2 minutes. Okay, so this is where if you get anxiety or panic attacks, it can help with your respiration. They call it the emotional balancing point. So just sometimes if you don't even know, you get in a funk or try this, it's called Sea of Tranquility. So you're putting a little pressure. You want to feel those fingers in there, but you don't have to dig in there. Okay? Change up your legs if you need to. You don't have to hold this point the whole time. I just want to give it to you as a reference point that you can come back to it If you're feeling a little anxiety or panic attacks, hopefully not, but and you can use either hand to hold the points. Because you got 3 fingers there, so you're on that point, just know that. Okay? So they're the way they say it is to you take those 3 fingers, you're at the base of your breastbone. So the other 2 fingers are right above that, and you'll be on that point. And you can ask me questions after class, because we can unmic and I could go over this again or go over that pranayama that we did this morning. Okay, this one's for panic or anxiety, respiration, help calm the mind. And then the pranayama we did in the beginning was more for immune system, a little bit more energizing using those forceful exhalations. What else? It was also good for your sinuses, cholesterol level, digestive fire. That was the pranayama we started. Okay, maybe just another 30 seconds or so here. Feel free to change up if you like. Okay, so release the hand, bend the knees if they're not bent. Roll over to one side. Nice and slow, come up to seated. You're going to take that same roll and just double it up. So I just folded it over. We're going to do a nice gentle bridge pose, but instead of using the hard block, we're going to use the blanket today. Okay? So just set that off to the side. Please come back onto your backs. Let's hug the knees in after we just did that. Some of you were in back bends, I'm sure. So I'm hugging both knees in. Move the knees slightly away. Hands still on the knees. Exhale, hug the knees in. And move the knees away. 2 more times. Anapada Asana. So in Dr. Ladd's video, he's saying it's always important to keep our digestive system healthy. That's the fire of the Agni, and these forward bends can help with that, okay? As well as some pranayama, as well as what we choose to eat. But this is always nice before any meal, okay? Then I'm going to put the feet onto the floor. You have your blanket next to you. I'm going to lift the hips up. Slide that blanket underneath. So if it's a little too tall, then you can take one of the levels out if you want. Lifting my hips up, putting the blanket underneath more of the hips, the bottom part of the back, the sacrum, so it shouldn't feel like a back bend. Readjust yourself, make sure the back of the neck is nice and long. And then what I'd like you to do first is extend one leg, it's on the floor, extend the other leg and see how that feels. And then I let the feet just fall out. And I want to feel stretch in through the psoas, the groin area. And I'll tell you, you're in the privacy of your own home. So you could even take your fingertips, go through the groin. Some of us, I'm tighter on the right side than the left side. And give yourself a little massage. Just take a couple fingers and go in there, like the inside of the hip bone there, even the crease of at the top of the femur bone, the crease of the groin up there. And this all brings, that's why you get a massage, I'm assuming, or one of the benefits of massage is bringing circulation into that area that's getting massaged, right? New blood flow. Okay, we'll let the hands float away. Bend the knees. Lift your hips up a little higher, like you're coming off the blanket. See how that feels. Don't turn your head here, so I don't know where your device is, but don't turn your head, chin in towards your chest, and then lower your hips back down. Bring just the right knee in towards your chest. You're still in that blanket. I'm grabbing underneath the back of the knee, and I'm just going to hug that knee in. It should be okay for your backs because it's not a back bend. Move the knee a little bit away, then bring that knee in. Just like we did with both knees, but now we're just doing one. One more time, hug it in. Bring the right leg down 3 times on the other side. So I bring the left leg in, my hands are coming behind the knee, I'm going to hug the knee in, then move the knee a little bit away, hug it in. You'll feel that sacrum on your blanket, move it away. And last one. Good. Foot comes down onto the floor. Now, option is, we'll play like another 30, 40 seconds here. You can extend the legs out the way you had them, or some of you might want to elevate the legs and take both legs up towards the ceiling. Any variation here, I can point, flex my feet. I could, if I wanted to add some abs, I could lower one leg down and keep the other one up. Some leg lifts here. You have that blanket underneath of you. You could even take those legs into a V shape if both legs are up. So the last couple seconds here, however you want to play. And then if the legs are still elevated, go ahead and bring the feet onto the floor. And if they were extended, feet on the floor. We're going to lift the hips up and slide that blanket out. Sometimes, you could use 2 blankets underneath there, or if you have a bolster, sometimes I like it even a little higher. As my hips come down after the support comes away, I'm going to separate my feet and windshield wiper the legs a little side to side. You can move the arms out to the side so your feet, legs don't touch. One more time each side. Not even a twist as much of massaging that lower back from being on the support of that blanket. Then I'll walk the feet in, feet are still on the floor. I'm going to roll over to one side and come once again to a seated posture. Now I'll give you a couple options here. You could use that same blanket, the roll, or a bolster if you happen to have it. I was thinking, I'm going to use my bolster because I happen to have it here, is a little bit of a child pose to stretch out that lower back. And if you have a blanket or a bolster, you could even put a block underneath that, and then your hands can go underneath. So make it comfortable. I know some of you have knee issues, so you might choose to go onto your back and just hug the knees in, or modify the child. But I want the belly to be soft. I want the lower back to feel relaxed. Nothing really has to work here. You can always put a blanket behind your knees as well. This is actually, for me, it's comfortable enough. I could actually do Shavasana in child pose. If I'm supported well, my knees are happy. So that's an option. We're not ready to go into Shavasana yet, but just as a alternative. Okay. Let's come out of child and go ahead and take those supports away. Okay, then we're gonna take our blanket, open it back up, and then we're gonna just keep folding it in quarters. So I'm gonna have something like this. It's not as long. I wanna do another chest opener because I'm thinking that will help with the lats as well. Sometimes if the lats are pulling forward, we're going forward a little too much, it might be helpful to have some of the chest openers so to counterpose that. So I was thinking that blanket goes horizontal on your mat, and you can look at the setup first and decide if you want to do this pose. But I know you got your homes right there, so have pillows and everything around. So I'm going to put this right across my shoulder blades. Maybe it's too much of a back bend, so I put a blanket or a pillow underneath my hips. So I was thinking that we'll set up with cactus arms. This comes right across my shoulder blades. You can change up your legs. If you feel it in the back, then take the blanket vertical and sit on it. If you know that works better for you, like Deb, I know that probably works better for you. Or you could put a pillow underneath your hips so it doesn't feel like a back bend, but you're still getting the chest opening. I'm going to give you a mudra to do, so you stay there. I like to make sure I tell you all the benefits of it. So basically, your thumb and your ring finger are going to touch one another. Thumb and ring finger touches. Those are the same two fingers we use for the pranayama. This is called gesture of the earth. So it increases the dynamic flow of energy in the body, promotes a flexible, open mind, and leads to a state of bliss. Okay? Thumb, ring finger touches. Other fingers are just extended out. And this is on both hands. Okay? Please change up. I'm not there to come around and give you an extra blanket or whatever, so it's always nice to have all those things around that you might need. Okay? Now you can change up the arms if you want more expansive, and maybe the arms go out a little bit more into cactus. I was thinking maybe just another minute here if you're comfortable, or come out if you're not. We're doing the mudra to help with bliss. And our reading for today. It's a Sioux prayer. O Father the sky, hear us and make us strong. O Mother the earth, hear us and give us support. O Spirit of the east, send us your wisdom. O Spirit of the south, may we tread your path of life. O Spirit of the west, may we always be ready for the long journey. O Spirit of the north, purify us with your cleansing winds. I often think of that last line here in New Mexico when the winds start to come up around March and April. And when that wind, because it agitates me, I say it's cleansing. The winds are cleansing. Okay, just a few more breaths here. Okay. Release the mudra, bring the arms a little closer to your side body. nice and slow, bend your knees. You're going to roll out of that support. If you want to put that blanket right underneath your knees for when we come back onto our back, you can. Or some of you might want support for your head. But we're all going to eventually come onto our back. So I have a few more poses here, but this is pretty much, you'll be setting up for Shavasana in a little bit. Or you might change your Shavasana up to belly down pose or child pose. So when I come back onto my back, make sure you use your abs to lower yourself down. Knees are going to stay bent. Interlace the hands and they can rest on your belly. And then take the palms up towards the ceiling. So my hands are interlaced, palms pressing up. Keep pressing up, lengthen those arms, and you'll probably feel your mid-back stretching there. Just keep pressing the palms up. And then little by little, let your hands start to go overhead. So you can stop at any point. Doesn't have to be all the way down to the floor. And then we'll bring the palms back onto our belly. Now your hands are interlaced here, but change up the interlace. Just move one hand over. It will feel a little different. Press the palms up towards the ceiling. And then stretch up, reach up as far as you can. So you almost feel like your shoulders are coming off the mat. And then take a big breath in between your shoulder blades. Fill it up. And then little by little, on the exhale, you can bring those arms behind your head with straight arms or bent elbows. Nice little shoulder stretch. Don't force it. Come back up towards the ceiling. And the palms go to the belly again. Relax the hands. Happy baby pose. So I'm going to bend my knees, grab the back of my legs, my ankles, or the bottoms of my feet for one more hip stretch. And I really want to keep the back of my neck long. Some of us might be happy babies, so we can rock and roll a little side to side. As I go to one side, I might extend that leg, then come back into happy baby pose, then extend the other leg. So play with it here. You've probably seen a baby do this before, just playing in the crib. Good. Come back to your classical happy baby pose. Help the legs together. Hold the back of the legs with your hands. Flex those feet. So that's pressing the heels up towards the ceiling or the sky. And then look at your toes and spread them. Can you see light in between every single toe? And then relax the feet, bend the knees, hug the knees in, chin in towards the chest. And then if you want to lift that head up and bring your nose to your knees, you can. Do it slow. This might get in between the shoulder blades as well. Really bringing the knees in, tucking the chin in so I have support for my neck. And then when I lower the head down, I'll still keep the chin in. And that will actually, you might feel it. I feel it strengthening the sides of the neck as well. Okay. Then those legs, feet, going to come down onto the floor. Windshield wiper the legs a little side to side. So my knees are bent, feet on the floor. I'm just going to play with a little side to side. Head in the opposite direction. Now, if I want to take my arms out into cactus arms, bent elbows, or T position, I could even press those arms a little into the floor to keep the shoulders down onto the floor. This doesn't even have to feel like much of a twist. You might feel it in the upper part of your glutes. And then the next time we come back to center, we'll extend the legs out. If feels better to keep them bent, you can do that. We're going to bring the hands behind the head, okay? And you can bend your knees here if you like as well. But you've done this before. We're going to press the elbows into the floor, in the back of the arms, into the floor, and you'll probably feel your chest lifting. So that's going to get maybe thoracic, maybe not so many of your lats, but I can feel my lats engaged. And then relax, okay? Press down through your arms. Your chest will automatically lift as you press down through your arms. Feel that contraction for about 5 or 10 seconds. Muscles are working there, let them work. And then relax. Release the hands. They'll come onto your belly. Take a breath into your belly. Let your hands move because the breath is coming in so deeply. And then exhale, slow that breath out. You can even give it a little help with your hands to push the remaining breath out. Again, one last time, abdominal breathing, expanding the belly. And then once you think you have all the breath out on that exhalation, see if your hands a light little press to get the rest of the breath out. Good. We'll release. See if there's any other pose. I'm going to come out, but you're going to see if there's any other pose that you would like to do for relaxation, or before you go into relaxation, excuse me. And then you'll set yourself up for either, you could try legs on the chair, child pose, bolster underneath your knees. The belly down pose I mentioned would be a bolster or 2 blankets. Right, you lay down onto your belly. The edge of the bolster comes right at your collarbones. And a lot of times that releases your lower back. For those of you who've been doing some gardening, you just want to keep your head centered there if you're doing that. You may want to go back to the mudra for Shavasana where your ring finger and thumb touch. The other 3 fingers extend out. Promotes a flexible and open mind. Okay, so you have 5 minutes here in Shavasana. I'll ring the bell when we're ready to come out. You could always stay where you are and just end the meeting on your side if you just feel like you need a little longer Shavasana. I'd like to start your transition coming out of Shavasana. We'll sit for a moment together. If you still want to be in Shavasana, you can stay there. Just transition nice and slow. If you are coming out, just make sure your spine's nice and long. So bringing your palms at your heart center. I'm going to unmute us all. So just know you're unmuted now. Bring the palms to the heart center. And if you'd like to join, it can be silently or just take in the sound of Om. So joining our voices together. Om. Shanti, Shanti,
Shanti.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
If you want to stay on and visit a little bit, feel free. You can undo your videos. I unmuted everybody, but it looks like some people are muted. It might be because you don't have a speaker. I'm not sure. But if you have questions about the pranayama, let me know, or that tranquility point, just know you can always come back to that. And if you're kind of new, just introduce yourself. I think I know everybody that's on.
I would be new to your people there, but I go back with
Oh,
Gloria to 1999. I am
yeah.
Lynn.
Hi, Lynn. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi,
Deb.
Deb and Robin, a lot of you,
Hi,
Elizabeth.
Karen.
Deb's outside.
I am.
know.
How was
I
it?
enjoyed it
Oh,
outside.
sorry.
I'm going to do that next time.
It's nice.
Yeah. I don't have grass. You would see my tulips and stuff, so I could. It's all rock, so it'd be a little uncomfortable.
Oh,
I have a
Sound.
question, Gloria. Can you?
Pardon?
No questions?
No questions?
No, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to see where that point is in at the breastbone.
Okay, it's if you take 3 fingers, they say come to the end of your sternum, your breastbone, with the 3rd finger.
One too high.
And it's right in there. It's really right between your breasts. So, you know, at the end of the breastbone, then I bring that 3rd finger there, and it's right there. I think they give you
You use your right hand or your left hand?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't
I
matter.
don't
It's
think
not
I'm
like a mudra.
I'm not sure.
So, see, so everybody knows where their breastbone is. Right here is at the end of it. That's where you put the 3rd finger, say my bottom finger. So because you have 3 fingers, you're getting that point. It's not the whole thing, but because we're using 3 fingers, you're on that point. Sea of tranquility. So if you get anxious, if you feel like a panic attack, hopefully not, try it. You can't sleep at night, just think sea of tranquility. And get in there. It's just, I want to feel the connection between, like that I'm touching my breastbone.
% milk.
Anything else?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gloria.
That pranayama, do that. It's going to be my mainstream pranayama.
Oh, what is the pranayama?
It's what is pranayama or what pranayama?
Just a bananas thing.
Which
I'll
one?
review it. So it's the ring finger and the thumb. We've done it in class before. You forcefully, let's say you close off the right nostril, forceful exhalation through the left, inhale through the left, close it off, forcefully exhale through the right, inhale through the right, and then you go back and forth. On this one, it's autolome velome. Sometimes I don't do the forceful exhalation, but Dr. Ladd, in his description, he says it's a forceful exhalation through that nostril you're releasing. And then you inhale through that same nostril.
Which fingers?
It's the ring finger and the thumb, and it's your right hand. So I think all mudras are done with the right hand, because in India, this is used for something else. So, and this is used for pranayama. Okay. Forceful exhalation. So I got to close off one, forceful exhalation. I got to inhale through that one because it's open. Close it off. Forceful exhalation through the left. Then that's the only one I can breathe through. So I'm inhaling through that one. Close it off, and you go back and forth. And his suggestion is your arm is out to your side. At Kripalu, we kept it down, but his makes sense. You're trying to keep this side body open for that breath and that forceful exhalation. And you might start with 5 or 10 rounds, get up to about 2 minutes. And if your hand, this is called Vishnu Mudra, when your middle finger and index finger fold down. Some people keep it up here on their third eye center. I'll go sideways. And then they do it this way. Because, if your joints don't want to fold down, it might feel more comfortable. Keep it on your third eye center, but you still have your thumb and ring finger to exhale and inhale from. Do it.
Gloria, I've been doing these pranayamas with the nose closed off for years, but I missed the very beginning. And you have your right hand in the mudra with the ring finger and the thumb. And then I'm used to using that right hand to close off my nostrils successively. How do I do that to keep the the mudra?
Well, the mudra is open, Vishnu Mudra.
Well, I know the mudra you use to do the alternate nostril breathing.
Oh, you mean the other mudra?
Yeah, but I don't know how to do it with this, the ring finger mudra.
Oh, well, you can. It would just be that this stays up. The 2 fingers stay up. And I alternate side to side. Is that what you mean? Because this is the mudra we just did.
You take
this. Yeah. So when you think about that, that's easier. And you can just go back and forth.
Okay, I guess you're taking it out of the mudra in a way if you're...
Yeah, because they're not touching. True.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the part I was confused about.
Okay. No, classically you use Vishnu Mudra with the 2 fingers down, but some joints don't like that. So then, it's just alternating back and forth.
Thanks, Gloria. We'll see you.
Okay.
Gloria.
Okay.
Thanks for
Thank you,
that.
Gloria.
I'll send out an
Your time.
email because I'm promoting those specialty classes if you want. So, and then Julie might come in next week and do a little Ayurvedic session after our yoga. I'll let you know what time that is. But she'll give us, we have to figure out how to share the screen. And she'll be doing just 15 minutes of Ayurvedic, like what's good this time of year and what we're going through. So.
And you don't know which class that will be yet?
No, I'll send it out on the email.
Okay, thanks, Gloria.
Monday or Friday, or she might do both. Anybody else, any questions?
Gloria,
Bye.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Stay safe.
Namaste.
Elizabeth.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Hey, Gloria.
Namaste.
Namaste. I want to make sure I stop recording.